Hello, Hitless Gaming here, bringing you guys another guide in EVE Online. Today I want to talk about the Trig. I did make a guide recently on how to hunt them and how to fight them, and that leads to getting negative Trig standings. A consequence of neutral, which you have when you first start playing the game, when you have a brand new character, or negative standings with the Trig, is that they shoot you on sight. They're commonly spotted in perimeter and on the trade routes between perimeter and Amar. So it's a really good idea to have at least one character that can safely navigate around in high sec, so that you can move your stuff around if you don't have if you have negative trig standings with all your characters, or if you just don't want the trig to bother you. This is something that you would do. It's really easy to do. It only costs like 10 or 15 million ISK, depending on the value of the stuff at the time when you're doing it. At this point in time, the setup costed me about 10 million ISK, 10 to 12. I bought insurance on the ship too, because I know it's going to die. And I'm just going to demonstrate how to do this. I did this with the cheaper setup, but it took longer to find the circumstance that made it happen. So I think spending a little bit more ISK on the actual ship and making it easier for yourself is going to be better than trying to do it the other way around, which is try and find a fight between Trig and rogue drones. Anyways, we'll get into that in a minute. There's a couple things that you need to do before you head out, and it's something that you can do out of JITA, so you don't have to go anywhere to do it. You can do it out of any trade hub too. But this is the guide on how to get positive Trig standings and positive eating comp standings, so the entire Triglavian content and all the trigs and all the eating comp things will not shoot you. And it's very helpful. And new players who have lost ships or lost things to the trig know the pain and know that this is frustrating, and this is the answer. This is the easy answer. So the first things first, you want to get your ship. So actually, well, before we even get there, let's do our overview. So I'm in my overview settings here. We're on overview tabs. I use ZTAC as overview, and it doesn't always have the right thing, but we want to make sure the rogue drones appear on our overview so we can find them. And if they're on our overview, we can descan them down. So what we're going to do is we're in a safe spot right now. So you go to your random little safe spot, you open up your overview settings, you hit the little neocom menu here and open overview settings. You'll get this little window, and you're going to look at overview presets. And this is the preset that we're currently have loaded, right? So this is the one that we're currently using. We're going to search rogue drone, ROU, I believe is how it goes, RO. Anyways, it's in entity, and it's down here a little bit. So there's tabs. Most of them are entities. So you search entity, and there's rogue drones. You want rogue drone and rogue drone entity. The rogue drone entities are what we're looking for. You want these to be checked and on your overview. As long as these are there, you'll be able to find them. And then when you hit descan, they'll show up on your descan. That's really important. I did in my previous Triglavian hunting video go over how to hunt things with descan. So you just want to make sure that the rogue drones appear there, and that's kind of important. So now they'll appear on our overview, and we'll be able to find them. The second thing that you want to do is you want to set up your ship, and I'm going to put a couple screenshots up on the screen of the same fit. I know it estimates at 10.9, but I just paid 8.5 for it in JITA. But this is a longbow fit or a kiting or a long range fit. What we do is we load iron into the guns. I prefer to use Caldari Navy, but we load iron. We don't do a lot of DPS. That's not what's important. And then we're going to go ahead and use the range scripts. But this fit gives us a 75 kilometer fall off, 75 kilometer fall off and 66 kilometer range. This means we don't need to be anywhere close to them. We're going to run away from them, basically. And we only need to kill one NPC. That's it. You can try this again and again. You just need to kill one. And it's fairly cheap to do an attempt. This fit's really easy. We have prototype Gauss cannons. Then we have a Microwarpdrive, 2 tracking computers loaded with optimal range scripts. They're opticals, and then 2 magnetic field stabilizers, a Locus coordinator to give us a little bit more range, and then 2 Ionic field projectors that gives us a little bit more locking range. So we'll be able to shoot them at 70 kilometers. Our range is a little further than that, but it's less than ideal and perfect. It's a cheap, easy to fit ship. The stats with no skills are actually very similar. This character doesn't have, I had to train Caldari Destroyer to 1 in order to fly the ship on this character. I have decent gunnery skills, but I did go on the test server. I have a character that has 0 skills. He's a brand new character with nothing injected. I took some screenshots. I'll show him up on screen here. But basically, you get okay stats with this fit with no skills, and it only takes about 2 days to train, or like 60,000 skill points. So it's one of your daily alpha injectors. It isn't a hard thing to get into. It's very, very easy, and most people will be able to fly this already because they like to get their Gila. The Caldari Destroyer is required. A lot of people train a little bit of gunnery skills, trying out guns for the first time. So getting into these guns isn't that difficult. It's actually a really easy ship to train, and it's super cheap. But the idea of this fit is you're going to find the NPC. You're going to go keep at range. You're going to hit 100 kilometers, 100 kilometers, and you're going to run away from them. You're just going to keep at range 100, and you're going to run away. They're probably going to be faster than you, and they're probably going to come down and kill you. But we just have to kill one. That's it. We just need to kill one before we die. That's our entire job and purpose, to kill one NPC. That's all we have to do. And that will give us positive trig standings. This character already has positive trig standings at the expense of losing eating comp standings. So I'm doing this on this character in an attempt to fix my eating comp standings and make this from red to blue. I already have positive trig standings, so it's already blue at 0.005. And that means that the trig don't attack this character in space. And I've done this once via a different method live on stream. We went and there's a cheaper way to do this, but it takes a lot longer to do. You kind of have to go chase down some NPCs. You have to find drones fighting trig or drones fighting something and target paint the drone. And then you just kind of stay like 150 kilometers away. You use 2 sensor boosters and you target paint. I'll link the fit in the thing below. But the condition that you have to find is much rarer, and the time that it takes for this to work versus the time that it takes the other one to work is a big factor. So that's kind of what we're after. To get into Pochven to fight these rogue drones, you're gonna have to take a filament. And basically what you do is you hit Alt-R, right? And you look at the market. We're going to go for trade goods, filaments, and then we're looking for Triglavian space inbound. And then you're just going to buy the cheapest one. It doesn't matter which one. So go look through these, find one that's cheap, and buy the cheapest one. You don't want to spend 2.5 million just getting in. And then remember, this is a one-way ticket. We are going in, and we don't plan on coming out. So it looks like the home 5 or home 15 is the cheapest right now. I currently have a border 15, and we're going to go with that. But this will take you into a random space in Pochven, or not completely random, but a certain space in Pochven, and then we'll be able to go check that out. Anyways, in order to use this filament, you have to be in a fleet with yourself. So you're going to find your name. In this case, my character's name is Hateless2112. So I'm going to find my name. I'm going to form a fleet with myself. And then I'll be allowed to take the Pochven filament. And then I can go into Pochven. Sorry, I got a cat here. And then we're going to go ahead and look for what we're after. So we're going to go ahead and use Pochven activate. Not sure why it's not activating. Maybe I haven't moved. Normalized read, Triglavian space. Can only be used. Oh, you also have to set your safety to yellow in order to go in. You can't have your safety set green. You have to set it to yellow. That's what I was missing. So we're gonna just go ahead and go in. And remember, this is a one-way ticket. You should check your clone. I might be in trouble here, but you should also check your clone and make sure that you have no implants. Because if I had a different clone, I would be in trouble here. So we've arrived into Pochven. It's a mystical, scary place. We're going to start looking for D-scan. We're looking for drone entities of any kind. And as you can tell, there's a lot of NPCs here. And I am not sure. We got Trig, which will leave us alone. And then I believe these vexing and punishing are what we're after. So we're going to go ahead and locate those by hitting putting the cat on the table, and then hitting F9. And then we're going to go ahead and locate them. We're going to turn that down to 5, and we're just going to scan random places. So we actually ended up in Senda, which is really close. It looks like we have some elite AIs fighting them over there. So we can go over there. We go there, we have some Rasnaborg. We can go here. We have some more Rasnaborg. And it looks like this might be the way to go. There's an Algos there that's already appears to be fighting them. Oh, those are Punishers, Ospreys. I'm more after the Vexing. But we'll go check this out. This is a, it could be a few things. So if we zoom in on this, there's a system, and it could be in any of those. So we're going to go ahead and warp to the planet. We're going to warp within 100 because we want it to be far away. It looks like there's an Algos potentially doing the same thing that we're doing. So we're just going to go and warp to that. We're going to hope those are drones. If not, we're going to warp somewhere else. While en route, we're going to hit Control B, and we're going to call that a safe spot. And I'll let that expire in 3 hours. And that's somewhere to warp off to, should we have a problem or be scared. So this is exactly what we're after. We're after the, we're after one of these, and it looks like this guy's doing the same thing. So we're just going to lock these guys up. We're going to kind of turn away from them, and we're going to start shooting them. And all we need to do is kill this one guy. That's it. And then we'll lock him up just in case he decides to lock us. We could potentially get a kill here, but we're not after a kill. We're going to help that Algos get his kills, and we're going to be friendly. And it looks like this ended up being a really easy incursion. So we're fine. He's warping off. I hope that he got his kill. I'm going to go ahead and... I've killed 1. I've killed 2 now. We're doing okay. We go ahead and kill the 3. It's a little scarier. We can go ahead and start flying away from them because they're going to start flying at us. And that's it. We have positive standings. We don't have to sit here and fight these anymore. But as you can see, it's really easy to do. We don't even really need anything fancy. They're not repairing. It just takes a little time. And we're running away as fast as I can. I'm killing the one with the higher number because it's a scarier one. And we're just kind of running away and firing. That's it. That's all. And eventually we'll kill it. And we'll go ahead and kill the next one. And as you can see, that literally took me 10 minutes. It took me longer to explain what we're doing than to actually do it. And if we kill this guy and then kill this guy, we'll be a-okay. We're pulling range. We're actually faster than them in this case. So we're doing okay. I really hope that guy got his standings. Because he was present for one of them dying. And he did shoot at one of them. So he should get his standings too. We're going to go ahead and finish this one. And the more of them you kill, the more standings you get. If you're not grinding, it's not a big deal. And then if we brought probes, we could look for the wormhole out of Senda, and it's actually right next to, Jita. We could end up home very quickly. This is actually the one that I farm out of when I hunt Trig. I farm off this one. Anyways, that's it. We have positive standings with Trig now. That's all you had to do. That's all you have to do. Ship was 10 million ISK. I don't care if it dies. Now I could just throw it at something. I could walk away. I could self-destruct. I'm done. I done the objective. That's all you really need to know or do. You just need to go find them. You descan them down. You hit V to do that. A couple tips is to make sure that's on your overview. We got some state things. We want to avoid those, so we're going to go ahead and locations. We're going to warp to that safe because we made a bookmark. Remember, while you're in warp, in your first warp, you should make a bookmark somewhere in the warp, and that will make you a little safe. D-scan's pretty easy to work with. It just might require some playing and understanding to learn it. The range is how far the little arrow is. You see how that made it bigger? And this is how wide of a scan that you have. You see I'm making the cone. And it does correlate to where you're looking in space. So if you move your camera around, it'll look in different directions. This is where I'm looking on the map. And then, of course, we're looking in 2 different 3D worlds from 2 different angles. So it gets intertwined and mixed and weird. So basically, when we want to find something, we just hold V and we click on things and it'll point in that direction. And then if you want to be narrow, you go to 5. So and you hold Alt, and you can point to different things, but you just kind of go around and look. And eventually you'll find something. Sometimes it's not quite as quick. This is an example of a few NPCs fighting each other. So there's a couple vexing, and then there's these guys that are probably fighting each other. So if you go help them with this or target paint this, you would be able to get the standings without actually shooting anything. Sometimes they're on the sun. It's worth checking that out. Looks like there's some Rasnaborg there. We don't have positive standings yet. So the Rasnaborgs will actually still shoot us. But when the standings tick comes by, well, actually they won't shoot us because we have positive standings. But you warp within 100, and then a little menu will go away, and you're looking for the vexing, of course. But the Rasnaborg are already positive to us, so we don't need to worry about it too much. We'll get a little notification in the corner of our screen in about 10 minutes. Alrighty, so we're back after a little bit of a wait. I walked away, came back, and I have a notification. That notification is that the rogue drones my rogue drone standings has decreased. And 2 other standings have been affected, so we're going to go ahead and open up my character sheet and look at my interactions here. And it looks like my eating com standings are not quite positive yet, so I might have to do it a little bit more to get positive eating com standings, because I did shoot an eating com ship. And then we're 0.01, which we were 0.00 with the Trig standings. So if you had neutral standings before, and you did the same thing that I did, you would have a positive standings for both. And you would be clear to go into whichever space you prefer. So there's the standings gain. That's how it affected me, just killing a couple NPCs. And you would end up with positive standings. After this, you're safe to roam around everywhere in high sec, and you will be a-okay for all hauling, for moving your ships around, and the Trig and eating com will ignore you in known space. The only downside is the rogue drones don't like you out in Trig space. It's not really a big deal. So I did want to add one more thing to this video. I want to tell you what affects your Trig standings, or what will. Doing content in Pochven, shooting the rogue drones and eating com and NPCs in Pochven will affect your Trig standings. I don't know what every single Trig or variant of NPC is in Pochven and how that'll affect your standings. Shooting Trigs in wormholes, if you spot them in wormholes or in known space, so anywhere null-sec, high-sec, or low-sec, shooting Trigs will lower your Trig standings. Shooting eating com will increase your Trig standings, and it will have an inverse effect on eating com and Triglavian. So if you shoot Trig, you get positive eating com. You shoot eating com, you get positive Trig. And then things that do not affect Trig standings that you would think would is really the Abyss. You are 100% okay to continue running Abyss after doing this. It's not going to hurt your Trig standings. Doing Abyss does not affect that. And that's a big concern that some people have. So I wanted to leave you guys with that little bit of information. Really easy. If you want, you can bring an extraction filament to leave. So if you want to get back out, you can bring a filament that will get you back out. But I just write the ship off as dead. You should write any ship off as dead that you bring into the Pochven region. But yeah, we're just kind of waiting on the standings tick, and yeah, we'll get it. So you always wait in Pochven just in case something happens. You dock up and just kind of hang out for a minute, and when the standings tick comes by, you'll get a little notification if you haven't disabled it, but it takes up to 20 minutes. It'll take anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes for your tick to come around. And yeah, that's it. That's legitimately all. That required no skills. I could have done it on a brand new character, but I decided to do it on my G-Alt, who couldn't really fly this ship in the first place. If you guys enjoyed this guide, I would really appreciate it if you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, as the growth on the channel really means a lot to me. And then if you want to come and learn with me on Twitch, I do stream a few times a week, starting at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is currently going to be 1900 Eve. That changed with Daylight Savings Time just last week or the week before. And you can kind of hang out and we do random things. Also, be sure to go check out my other videos. I've been working on some Let's Plays, and I've been working on a couple of other things that is a lot of fun for me. And hopefully, in turn, fun for you guys as well. participating and just kind of being around. Make sure you guys fly fun, enjoy your time in EVE Online, and we'll see you guys in the next one.